Hey y'all! Well, this video we're going to be reviewing the new Psvane Horizon KT88 tubes. And I decided to audition these in an amp that's been popular on our channel. I know quite a few have one of these, which is the Willsenton R8. This one has the Skunkie mods done to it. I've done the upgrades to the bias pots, as well as coupling caps and, various other things that we do to this amp. And it's a nice sounding push-pull amp, so I thought this was a good one to dive into this with. So let me go over the tubes that are in the front end. We've got a Psvane tall bottle in the middle. I've got a pair of JJ Gold Pin 5751 9-pin tubes in adapters in the 6SL7 slot, which are slightly lower gain versions of the 12AX7 family of tube, which is the 9-pin equivalent of a 6SL7. So we've toned down the gain just a breath using these tubes, and I found these Gold Pin 5751 sound really sweet. And then I've got some National Union red letter 6S and 7s in the outboard positions. I've tried Sylvanias, they also sound nice. These are a little cheaper and sound very similar. So again, that's what we've got in the front end of the tube. So let's talk over what is the power tubes in this amp. Previously, I've tried Gold Lion tubes, which are kind of a mainstay, or what people say are the best tubes to put in these. And I'll admit they are good sounding tubes. And in this audition, I had a set of those. Also had a pair of those black coated Skunkie Treasure KT88-Z tubes. And honestly, that's what I've been listening to. I actually prefer those over the Gold Lion. They have a more mellow presentation, which this amp, to me, and I don't know whether it's a function of the output transformers or the circuit, it's always struggling on the bright side, or it being a little too bright and forward. And so that's why I like the Skunkie tubes over the Gold Lions. And again, very likely could be these output transformers. I don't know. It's just kind of a sonic signature of this amp that it's a little on the bright side. So put these Horizon KT88s in it from Psvane and let them burn in for about 6 hours, and then I just left the amp running with it biased on the left side to kind of let all that bias kind of stabilize. And then I biased them up one click past center and ran about 3 hours of music through them, which some folks may not be enough to really break them in, but I feel like that usually gets tubes pretty close to what they're going to end up sounding like. And let's talk about the differences. Again, it's got this new, I call it their house sound of these Horizon tubes. They're very detailed. They bring out details in the music, like the cymbal kind of sparkle, and I'm talking about like super high frequency stuff that's over 10K. It's probably more like the stuff that's in the 5 to 8K range. It really gives some clarity to the notes in that range. They have a really nice bass crispness to them, and I think that's one way of just describing them, is they're really crisp sounding tubes. They have a really good mid-range sound as well. I will say the vocals are a little more forward than with the other two sets of tubes, which I actually kind of like. It gives a three-dimensionality to the music, where to me the Gold Lions are a little less holographic sounding. They're more 2D, where the Skunkie Treasure tubes are, while on the mellow side, they also widen the soundstage and give more depth to it. and that's why I like them over the Gold Lions. These are kind of in between the two, but have more detail than the Gold Lion tubes do. And so I guess it kind of depends on the music. Again, I think that's the joy of having a tube amp, is when you're going to sit down and really listen to some music, you know, you put something on and you're like, God, that just is a little too fatiguing, or it's a little too dull, depending on the mastering and how it was mixed. You can swap some different tubes in and get it to sound what you're looking for. And so I recommend getting a pair of these or a set of these, depending on your situation, and having this option and at least see what these sound like. I think they're pretty reasonably priced for what they are. KT88 tubes have never been cheap, and those Skunkie tubes they've been out of production for a long time. I'm not sure if the ones that are still left around are possibly, I don't want to say they were rejects, but you start to wonder when tubes that are out of production for several years, there's still some on the shelves, like where they came from. And these are new production tubes. And so, trying to think if there's really anything else that I noticed about them. They are quiet, not hearing any kind of microphonics, which usually don't hear out of power tubes anyway. And, you know, some of this could be the front end tubes could be tweaked a little bit to get a little different sound out of these as output tubes as well. And again, these tubes have what seems to be a theme of this house sound that these Horizon tubes have, of being low noise, very clean sounding, and very clear sounding. Has a very detailed presentation. So yeah, another set of tubes from them that I really like the sound of, and I hope y'all are enjoying this series on reviewing these tubes. I've still got a set of 12AX7s that I need to figure out how I'm going to listen to those. May put them in the front end of this amp. Might try them too in my phono stage, and I also could put it in the front end of my EL34 amp, which probably is more likely what I'm going to try doing, that in my phono stage. The phono stage will bring out any noise that they might have, because I've been using those 7025 really low noise 12AX7 type tubes. And so, yeah, hopefully I'll get those videos done this week and kind of wrap up this whole reviewing these Psvane Horizon tubes. So, hope you're enjoying this series. If you're enjoying my channel, please subscribe. Please like the video. Thanks to you Patreon folks. Thanks to all you folks that also support my channel in other ways, especially just watching my videos. I really appreciate y'all being loyal subscribers. And until the next video, have a nice day.